Morning. If you want to see how we restored this old magazine rack, stay tuned because that's what we're going to do today. Good morning and welcome to another Memphis Monday 351, our 39th week, our 7th year, starting off calendar year 22. Today's project is somebody's cashing in on their 10,000 year guarantee. My buddy, the story is about 3 years ago. My buddy had a little magazine rack, an indoor magazine rack made out of wood. He just had it sitting out in the yard. He says drank on it and put tools on it when he was working on the cars, and just left it outside and it was just falling apart. And I said, well, I'll just take it home and restore it. He said, well, either that or we'll throw it away because I don't care about it. And that was way back in 2017. Well, I restored it in Memphis Monday 184. That came out on 21 October of 2018. Well, anyway, I got it back to him. He put it back out in the yard, and 3 years later, after sitting in the weather and getting run over by a lawnmower, I claimed it again, and we're going to restore it for the second try. So anyway, perfect kind of project. It's a restoration project with no value. So let's knock off the chit chat and get restoring. Here's what we got on the magazine rack. It's pretty much a basket case. All the glue have all failed. The little inserts here to hold the magazines failed. Big chunks off the legs. The center joint here has failed, just being held by this little block here. All the joints have failed. Let's take a look at what, and the bottom down here, the big chunk of the wood has come off the side here, so this has to be fixed or replaced. Let's go look at the first restoration. This is a picture of the first restoration we did about a little over 3 years ago. And I think my mistake was I didn't re-glue all these joints. And my buddy leaves this thing outside. He uses it as a utility table and as a drink holder. And so all the glue joints have failed because it's really not an outdoor piece of furniture. But I can glue it up where it is. This was from Memphis Monday 184. That's 21 October 2018. Here's a little sketch of our current project. So we're going to have to restore the legs, the top, restore the finish, re-glue all the joints, and hopefully get it back into fighting order again. Since everything needs to be rebuilt, including these little decorative features here, I need to really take it apart and assess the damage. Let me go ahead and take it apart, and we'll see what we got to work with. These little 90-degree braces on the inside of the legs, I think the best way to get them out is just to split them out and replace them. You'll destroy the wood otherwise. gluing up the repairs to the top. Using poplar. I don't know what kind of wood this is originally. Probably poplar. Poplar's pretty common wood in making furniture. Well, I got that top glued up, and now I'll work on these sides. Now the sides, you can see the glue has failed on these boards, so we need to re-glue that. And we also need to replace some missing wood here and some missing wood up here. Now to take these apart, it's tongue and groove boards, but I think what's holding them right now is this breadboard bottom, these breadboard legs I put on the last time I worked on them. I remember when we originally worked on this thing, these legs were rotten, so I replaced them, but I can't remember how I attached them. Let's see if they knock off. Looks like I nailed them. Instead of just putting a little block of wood at the missing places, I'm going to run a saw right up through there so that I can attach a full board all the way the length and then cut it out later with a jigsaw. I got this straight edge here that I can put against my fence and get a straight cut on the other side. Let's try that. So what I'm doing here is putting biscuits in a tongue and groove joint. Never heard of that. And what I'm doing here is taking the biscuits out of the joint because I can't get it to close. Well, I got the top finished. Looks pretty good. Let's work on that broken side panel. I guess I never did tell you exactly why I use this big piece of wood just to cut out these little chunks. And the reason why, one of the reasons why, is I wanted a uniform line down through there. But another excuse is that I wanted a good clamping surface when I clamped them on. Since all the pieces I replaced here had various mortises and dados, I've got to go around and clean those out with a chisel. It's pretty easy. These replacement parts are cedar, and it's real light and easy to chisel, except for the fact that it splits like crazy. Well, I got the other side all sanded up, and also you saw me there rounding over the, for some reason, it might be the style or whatever, but these original sides aren't rounded over. They're just square. I don't know if that's part of some kind of a style or something, I don't know. But I went ahead and rounded over ours. What I'm doing here is I had a piece that was rotten right here, so I attached a piece of cedar, and now I'll cut that out and we'll start processing this side here. What I did here is I put a biscuit in here on this piece I'm gluing on. This piece really doesn't, there's not a lot of stress on it, except the way this thing's being used. The joint gets soaked with water. But I've got good glue on these. I think it should hold up this time. The pieces are so badly damaged that I'm actually planing them down, whatever distance that is, which is the same distance as the thickness of my repair wood. So these pieces will be a lot thinner. But you can see that the wood is badly damaged, and I want to get it back to looking somewhat presentable. So we're going to plane it down. The first side I'm going to plane down is this side right here. I want to get it close to the thickness of this repair that I sistered on here. So I'll plane this side first. Now some of the deep stains like this, you know, I'm never going to get those out up in here. And there's where the decorative feature was, that round circle. Okay, now what we got to do is clean up that edge. Good part about all this old factory furniture is they always make it out of real workable wood, because they got to make these things fast in the factory. If you're new to woodworking, Now this is something you might not know about. If I even got it. If you're new to woodworking, this is a little trick you can learn. This is just basically a big rough eraser, and what you do is use it to clean your sandpaper. Like you can see, it's getting clogged up here, and you just use it like an eraser. It's not perfect, but it works, you know, helps. Now, as I said before, the piece, those edges right there are all 90 degrees. There's no round over. Well, if anybody in the comments knows why they built these things this way, because you almost never see furniture put together that doesn't have some sort of a easement on the edges. You know, is this some kind of a style or something? I don't know. Let's put an edge on it. Now, when you're routing around corners and stuff, you can't use the fence, obviously. So you have to have a setup like this. But one of the things to remember is that these, you know, you need to know the rotation of the blade, and you don't want to try to feed it. You don't want to feed it with the rotation of the blade. You know, it'll shoot out and get away from you. So just remember, there's a right way and a right direction and a wrong direction when you're feeding something through with a router. You don't notice it so much with the fence or even with a handheld router, but when you're just freelancing like this, it can be actually dangerous. Go ahead and call me a hypocrite, because I'm always railing against people that make things that aren't repairable. And I'm fixing to put epoxy in this on these little legs, which will make them not repairable easily. Anything's repairable, but I mean easily repairable. But the legs are so badly damaged. They've had so many nails in them, and the wood is rotten and whatnot. So I'm going to have to use some extreme measures here. I think I'll put it right on the wood. This is one way to strengthen rotten wood too. Put epoxy on it. It'll soak in, make it a little bit stronger. Well, since we're fixing something that nobody actually wants fixed, let's go ahead and add some inappropriate decorations. These are what was on there before for decorations. These little, I don't know what they are, little hockey puck things, but they're beyond repair. So I added those pre-carved deals. They're actually not the same. but I don't think anybody will notice. I'm gonna put this thing together without any nails or brads or fasteners of any kind. I've already put a little finish on the top here. I didn't put any stain on these dados here. Yeah, actually, they're mortises, and I kept these, cleaned up these tenons here a little bit. This is actually the best joint in the whole thing because it's been protected from the weather. It's been underneath the top, so it's not rotten or anything. That's pretty nice. If you remember, originally these sides were braced with a little piece of wood cut at a 90-degree triangle here, and then that was glued and screwed right there in the corner. Well, we're going to upgrade to some steel here, and so maybe next time this thing gets hit by a lawnmower, it won't fall apart. Or maybe it will. Well, what I'm doing here is applying a coat of spar urethane. This will protect the piece from the sun. It's going to be outside. It's going to protect it from the sun for probably about a year. It'll also keep water from penetrating it for about a year. I'll go ahead and get this spar varnish on it, and we'll take a look at it. Well, there's our little orphan magazine stand that nobody wants, and I keep restoring. We replaced a bunch of missing parts. We added these decorative features. We re-glued all the failed joints. We added quite a bit of wood to the top, but we kept 2 center boards. We upgraded the under lid brace here with some steel, and we did the finish. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied. Memphis Monday 351. Well, that does it for Memphis Monday 351. Today we restored that old magazine rack for the second time. I think it's kind of funny. Nobody wants an art thing. They keep leaving it out in the weather, running over it with lawnmowers, whatever. But if you want to see the first restoration, is Memphis Monday 184, and it was published